The German Shepherd halted so suddenly that the leash snapped tight, the force jerking Officer Carl Morgan's arm forward. The dog's paws locked against the icy pavement as if the street itself had frozen him in place. In that instant, no more than a heartbeat, Carl knew something was wrong in a way no training manual had ever prepared him for. Snow dust skittered across the road outside Hawthorne Elementary. Exhaust fumes lingered in the air. Sirens echoed faintly somewhere far off. The city was barely awake. And yet Rex, his K9 partner, a dog who had chased armed suspects without hesitation and crawled through burning basements without fear, refused to take a single step forward. Carl tugged once on the leash, then again. Same calm authority, the same steady command that had guided Rex through nearly 8 flawless years on the force. But the dog didn't snarl. He didn't pull back or bark or panic. Instead, he turned his head and stared across the street with an intensity that sent a chill down Carl's spine. About 20 meters away, a small girl stood at the school gate. No parents, no backpack, just a thin jacket hanging off her narrow frame and a pink scarf wrapped twice around her neck like armor she didn't fully trust. Her breath came out in short, trembling clouds as she stared at the locked school doors, as if sheer will might force them open and pull her to safety. Before we continue, don't forget to like, share, repost, and subscribe. I'm also curious. Where are you watching from? Tell me your country in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Now back to the story. Without warning, Rex lowered his head. The leash slipped from Carl's loosened grip, and the dog walked straight toward the child, calm, deliberate, unwavering. The steady pace made Carl's heart slam against his ribs. This broke every rule, every command, every boundary drilled into them since day one. But there was no fear in Rex's movement, only certainty. The dog stopped in front of the girl, gently lifted the loop of the leash into his mouth, and placed it into her frozen hand as carefully as if she were made of glass. Her fingers closed around the leather instinctively. Her knees buckled, and instantly Rex leaned into her legs, supporting her weight, shielding her from the cold and the empty street behind her. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't pull away. She whispered, her voice cracked like thin ice. "Please, don't make me go today." The words weren't meant for the dog, but they struck Carl like a blow to the chest. His hand hovered near his radio. Every protocol screamed at him to intervene, to separate them, to regain control. But something in the girl's face stopped him cold. Her eyes carried a kind of exhaustion no child should ever know. Eyes that had seen too many mornings like this, alone and unsure. Rex looked back at Carl. Not defiant, not disobedient, pleading. The kind of look that twists your stomach, as if he were asking permission to do the one thing that truly mattered. The girl's name, Carl would soon learn, was Lily Parker. She was 7 years old. For 3 weeks, she had been walking to school alone. Her mother worked nights and slept through mornings. Buses stopped running when rent went unpaid. Neighbors learned not to ask questions when shouting leaked through thin apartment walls. Lily had learned how to be quiet, how to be small, how to wait. Rex had never learned how to ignore pain, no matter what uniform he wore. As the wind sharpened and the school clock ticked toward opening time, Carl understood this wasn't coincidence or error. It was a warning, and soon the city would learn why a police dog chose a child over a command. Carl lowered his hand from the radio. Reporting this as routine would have been a lie. And for the first time in years, he trusted his partner more than the handbook in his head. Rex stayed pressed against Lily, his warmth cutting through the cold. His ears weren't tuned for threats, but for the fragile sounds of a child barely holding herself together. When the school doors finally opened and teachers arrived, Lily didn't move. Her grip on the leash tightened, as if letting go might make her disappear. Carl knelt beside her slowly, softening his voice the way he once had when his own daughter was afraid of thunderstorms, and asked if someone could stay with her. Lily shook her head, eyes fixed on the concrete. After a long silence, she whispered that her mom said she was strong enough now. Rehearsed words. Words that didn't belong to a 7-year-old. She admitted she hadn't eaten since yesterday afternoon. That mornings were the hardest because the apartment was quiet then. Too quiet and too scary. And when she said she sometimes wished she could just stay outside forever, Rex let out a deep, protective whine that made every adult nearby freeze. What happened next unfolded faster than any arrest Carl had ever made. The school was notified. Child services arrived. Lily was gently wrapped in blankets and questions she wasn't ready to answer. Through it all, Rex refused to leave her side, sitting mere inches away, watching every hand that reached for her. His body a living wall of trust. When a caseworker tried to lead Lily away without him, Rex stood, calm, still, an unspoken line in the snow that no one dared cross. By noon, the truth surfaced in painful fragments. Neglect masked as exhaustion. Nights spent alone while strangers argued behind thin walls. Fear with nowhere to go. Until it found a dog who refused to look away. Lily was placed in emergency care that same day. Not because Rex broke protocol, but because he followed something older and deeper than training. The story spread quickly. Bodycam footage captured the moment a police dog chose compassion over command. The city responded the way it always hopes to, with outrage, with help, with people asking how a child could stand so alone without anyone noticing. Donations poured in. Counseling was arranged. Lily moved into a foster home where mornings began with breakfast and certainty instead of silence. Weeks later, Carl and Rex were invited to visit. Lily ran toward them, smiling in a way that finally reached her eyes. She wrapped her arms around Rex's neck as if she'd always known him. She told Carl she slept better now. That mornings didn't scare her anymore. And when she asked if Rex could walk her to school sometimes, Carl nodded, his throat too tight to speak. Rex returned to duty, medals polished, records spotless. But among officers, he became more than just a K-9. He became a reminder that sometimes the bravest thing a protector can do is stop, listen, and refuse to walk away. And somewhere in the city, a little girl learned that even on the coldest mornings, someone would stay. This story has touched millions of hearts. Did it touch yours? Let us know with a like.